tonight, I want to say, and I'm giving them a chance to introduce themselves. Also, what we're going to talk about is why less women are getting married, why less women are getting married, generational wealth and generational curses. So, if y'all would like to go ahead and introduce yourself, we're going to start with the ladies first. I don't see Miss Lash, but Miss Lash, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, Tanya Lash, live and direct, hailing from Powhatan, West Virginia.
Cyn- Powhatan, West Virginia,
I,
get up.
mm, Cynthia Gentry, born and raised Kimball, West Virginia, but by way I am in, where am I at? Oh, Connecticut. That's where I'm at now.
You're not that old, are
Now, let me tell you something. It's been a hard day.
you? Jay?
Oh, Jamar Fairweather, coming hailing from South Florida, near Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. If you're familiar with it.
Oh, and Mr. Huckleberry.
Shucks. Walter Huckleberry, born and raised Kimball, West Virginia. Yeah, um, yeah, I've been all over. So,
Mhm. Yeah. So I'm about to add one more guest, and I'm gonna cuss him out because you're late. You already know who that is. Roy, how you doing?
First of all, watch your tone. You're gonna cuss me out because I ain't late. I got damn 3 whole minutes.
So you got 3 whole minutes.
3 whole minutes.
Hey man, introduce yourself and go ahead so we can go on.
Rory Rice, Ty just got through playing golf. I know G Lou. I know Scent. Y'all other three. I don't know y'all, but it's all right.
Well, if you'd have logged in at 8:45 like I asked you to, you would have known them.
It said 9 o'clock.
No, and I text you when I sent you the link and told you 8:45. Log in at
You didn't text
8:45,
me the
please.
link. You text me via. You sent me the link via Messenger.
Well, whatever, you got it.
I did get the link, but I'm gonna look and see if you said
This is a
eight
Navy.
forty
That's another
five.
Navy vet. Walt.
okay.
hmm But anyway,
Walker, you was in the Navy.
Yeah, combat medicine, the corpsman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My apologies. You did say 8:45.
I know
I
I
ain't read
did.
that.
I know I
I can
did.
admit when I'm wrong. Cynthia, Cynthia, why you laughing over there?
Because because you was like, look, I got 3 whole minutes. You ain't sent me no 8:45, and then you like, yeah, yeah, you did.
Hey,
And you
that's who
and
we
you was
are.
just going in. That's the funny part. That's why I'm over here laughing because you just going in. I'm just gonna sit over here. Hey,
I wasn't going
Oh,
in.
missed
I
you
it.
was
already
I
know
ain't
we
seen
got
you
it.
in a
navigating.
couple of weeks.
I know I've been MIA. I seen you
Okay, Roy,
on
you're not gonna come
Facebook
over
with
here
the
and
with the
hijack the show,
grandbaby.
man. You're gonna have to be patient. Hey, if y'all
That,
gonna make,
Always
that
with the
ain't my forte.
grandbaby.
yeah, you're gonna be patient. But
Uh,
anyway, let's get
I'm
back to the
I'm
topic at
hungry, so
hand.
I'm gonna eat a little bit. I hope y'all don't mind.
As long as you don't smack.
Or chew with your mouth open.
Hey, I ain't
Then we're gonna
James
have to cut off
Huntsville.
your camera.
Yeah, but anyway, so Cynthia brought this up. Why less women are getting married? And I thought about that, and I did some research on it. And a lot of millennials was saying basically because they don't want to share their money. It's easy. It's easy for millennials not to get married. It's easier for them not to intertwine with anybody. Um, I think the millennials grew up so much in the house on the computer. They the computer generation. That's why I don't think they making that connection. So Cynthia, since you brought this up, I'd like for you to go first and let's dive deep in this.
Well, I think, in my opinion, for me, and when we talk about, and I know I grew up in an era where it was always talked of, it was kind of instilled in us that our path was to get married, have kids young, right? And and I was a young mother, wasn't married. I did things backwards, but I did go through my phase where even after being a young mother that I was just out here wanting to do what I wanted to do, right? I taking orders and trying to play house was not my thing. And so again, I went through this phase where I was doing men like men was doing women. And I can say that I lived and enjoyed my life. I did what I wanted to do. And even with me with my 26-year-old, even though, I'm here now with the grandbaby, my whole thing with her was like, um, go out, travel, enjoy your life before you decide you want to settle down and jump into a relationship and have kids, get married. Because once you get married and start having children, that changes everything, right?
Oh yeah.
And I
Oh
was
yeah.
telling her, like I said, I didn't get to travel like I wanted to, but I enjoyed my life. I was out here, doing me. And I felt that doing me helped build the person I am today because I was able to learn from my mistakes, realize what it was I wanted, what
Okay.
I didn't want.
Cynthia, can I ask
Um,
you a question? Can I interrupt you? Can I ask you a question?
yeah, go ahead.
So what they got to do with less women wanting to get married?
Because I mean, again,
I don't.
less women. I think the money thing surprised me, right? But I think just the point of enjoying your life, living your life, and not wanting to settle down because that's what we were always told as women that we should marry, and pop out babies. I just, hey,
But look,
live my life, enjoy my life.
I do agree with on the part where you said you just wanted you was doing men just like men was doing women. I'm all for that because I was always honest. That's why I'm still friends with all of my exes except for one because I was always honest
Hmm.
with them. You know what I'm saying? But I still had a deep desire in me that I know I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a hoe forever. You know, even hoes
I
want to go to
wasn't a
church.
hoe, William.
No,
I
no,
was not a
I
hoe.
said me. I
I was
said
not a
me.
hoe. What you wait a minute? Let me clear
I
that up
said
right
me.
now.
I said I don't want to be
Oh,
a hoe.
okay.
I said I
Oh,
don't want to be
okay.
a hoe
All right.
forever.
All right. Let's clear that up. Ah, yeah.
So I still had the desire to want to settle down. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what you said. Not because I was taught, that because me naturally, I always wanted another William Lewis running around. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. So that was my
But
mentality.
I wanted to settle down, but I just wasn't ready to settle down, right? I wasn't, you got to realize that if I try to settle down with someone at that point in time where I was in my life, I would have broken a lot of men.
Oh yeah, because you a
And that's
Taurus.
why,
Yeah, you a
yeah.
Taurus.
What?
You a Taurus.
Yes, I'm a Taurus. I would have broken a lot of men. So I
Hmm.
actually look back and it was like I did the right thing that I wasn't around here trying to pretend that I wanted this, that, and the other just because that was what was instilled in me. But I was clear about what I wanted, what I didn't want, and I just was not at that point of settling. That's all. For me, I thought it was settling.
Totally understood. Because I mean, you to me, I think you know when you meet the right one. Hey, Roy got his hand up. Go ahead, sir.
I got a question statement. Question is for Cynthia. Do you think you missed out on solid people, solid dudes when you were doing
I
you?
Yeah, I did. I do believe that I did miss out on solid dudes, but like I said, I was not in a position, um I wasn't ready to be in that position to be serious, to settle down, because like I said, I was like 21, 22, 23, right? And then even when I got in my late 20s, I was making up for lost times for being a young mother. So I feel, and I do, I actually sit back and actually when I look back at a couple of dudes, I was like, damn, I can be married right now. But then it's like, but what I had been happy, they might have been happy, but I probably wouldn't have been happy because at some point during that time, I was still finding myself. I was still learning about who Cynthia was. And in order for me to try to learn something, I have to learn about myself first.
Hey,
So yeah,
Mister.
I ain't gonna lie. I think I missed out on a lot of good dudes, but I didn't mess up good dudes. And that's where
Yeah,
I have to pat myself on the
on the
back.
back. Yeah. Hey,
Because I
Mister
could
Hunt.
have messed up a lot of good men
Jay,
for other
go
women.
ahead, Jay. What you got to say, Jay? Speak your mind, bro.
Oh, sorry to cut. Sorry, to cut.
Nah, you
But
good.
it's not in relation to that. But to answer the question, um, as to like why I personally believe that women aren't getting married, or not really necessarily heading down that path from my personal experience, it's more along the lines of I would have to say as it's kind of a funny way to phrase it, but majority of women in my well, I want to say like in my age group because I'm 27, about to be 28. Um, the more majority of them really just want to enjoy themselves, and it's starting to get a little masculine. Like women are starting to be a little bit more masculine in our in this day and age. Like you see a lot of guys starting to be emasculated. They're they're guys are
Mhm.
wearing tighter clothes and they're not really being manly. Like, and not necessarily saying that we're trying to bound anybody to like gender roles, like, oh, a man has to do this and a woman has to do that. But women are more like being taking more charge lately, and a lot of them feel as if, from my personal experience, that they're not going to settle with a guy that that I guess they can walk all over. They want a guy to be more dominant. But in today's day and age, with a lot of guys that are probably like around my age group
Mhm.
or even younger, they don't really got those manly qualities. Maybe that's because they don't really have like the male role models in the home. They don't really know what an example of a man is. A man isn't somebody who's going out there, doing X, Y, Z, and they have to be manly because they got a whole bunch of notches on their belt or X or things along that nature. And a man is like somebody who stands on their word. He gives you your
Hey,
word.
Jay, how old are you again?
I'm 27.
27.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. You said a man got to stand on his
Turned
word.
21, and I got out when I was 26. But yeah, well, I'm also a little bit different from a lot of people my age because I was raised by my grandparents. I didn't have the luxury to be raised by my parents in the home. I was raised by my grandparents. So my ideals and my values are a little bit different when it comes to looking towards a relationship. I'm in a relationship currently, and I must say I value an older woman. My current girlfriend, she's older than I am, and I must say that younger women, they don't really take life seriously because they're kind of busy living for other people. They're busy trying to stay trendy. They're busy trying to count your pockets. They're busy trying to spend your money and save theirs. An older woman is more willing to build with you. They're more willing to share that last with you. These younger women, if you don't got to give them the last, from my personal experience, they walking away.
Hey,
They
there
walking
you
away.
have it. I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but there
Mhm.
you have it. Y'all young women out there, if y'all listening, that's a young man, and he just told you he want an older woman because y'all ain't got it together. Hey, Mr. Huckleberry, you want to go ahead and speak your mind, sir?
Um, hmm, this subject is interesting simply because we're dealing with we got this young brown here, man. My daughter is your age, you know what I'm saying? So that just kind of threw me off a little bit. But like now everything is superficial. We all of us on well, those that I know, we we grew up in that era that get your little family, all that, you know what I'm saying, and then grow from there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then tying into the later topics as far as but doing all that and not really being financially equipped to
Yep.
handle um, what's to come. You know what I'm saying, or financially educated. So so yeah, it everything now is like I said, just superficial. I think that the social media era has gotten people where no nobody wants that long term relationship. Everything is hit it and quit it. Let's dip. You know what I'm saying? Even from the Russ said that the women are more masculine, the men are more feminine. Because the family dynamic is no longer there.
That's
Uh,
true. That's very true. So
you
you
know,
think
it's,
we becoming our robots
And
in all these
I
movies?
only say that only because of one small thing. Uh,
okay. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know how many people have gone through this, but I come from a time. I'm 27. Back when I was young, um, I know a lot of single mothers. Majority of their baby fathers or whatever the case may be either passed away in the system. they institutionalized or they just walked away from the family. So you have a lot of these single mothers trying to navigate raising men on their own, and not to say that some women don't do phenomenal jobs. However, there are some women who instill certain factors in their child's life or in their son's life, and their son go about seeing these things, seeing their mother getting beaten on, seeing their mother getting cheated on, seeing their mother getting XYZ that happens to them, and they internalize that. Look at Chris Brown as a great example. He
I don't
claims
I
that
don't I
his
don't I don't agree with you on that. And here's why.
uh
And here's
hmm
why, because that experience that you just explained, I lived that, and I don't.
right.
I have never done nothing like that in front
No,
of my
no,
kids,
I
or
said
I have
some, not
never hit
all.
a woman or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Or
Right.
well, I can't say I ain't never hit a woman because I choked the shit out of my ex-wife, and I was wrong.
I said
That
some,
is,
I was
some,
wrong.
not all.
You
But
better make sure the
like,
statute of limitations are up before you start
you know what
around
I'm
here
saying?
committing
You
these
say
stuff.
that because
Nah, we
we
went to
all,
Well,
you
court
you're
know,
for
really
this
it. We
is
already
wrong.
been to
recorded.
court
Well, you're
for it.
really
We already
wrong.
been to court for it. We already been to court for it.
Well,
So,
you're really wrong.
what'd
That's
you
my
say, Roy?
question. Was you really wrong?
Oh no, no. I mean, and what? Cause okay, I'm gonna tell you. So we was got to arguing. We was arguing, and she came out her mouth and said, I used you, and I lost it, and I picked her ass up by one hand over the bed, and I choked until she almost passed out. But that shit pissed me the fuck off, cause it goes like you was saying. It's like I've been through your situation where she wasn't ready, cause she was a young mother. Cause my daughter's my stepdaughter, and I raised her since she was 2 months old.
Mhm.
So when that shit happened, it was like I lost it. No, was I wrong? I was dead wrong. But sometimes, like you said, she didn't know herself enough not to marry me because I was happy with her. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he was saying. Then when I got divorced, I was like, all these, I didn't want to be like messing with no young girls because I don't have time to be what you done done. What you doing, I done done pretty much. It doesn't flatter me. And then you look at the generation today is like young man said. Uh, everybody want to do a TikTok. Everybody want to do this, but these kids want it fast and quick. Like Janelle said, hit it and quit it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm sorry, Miss Lash, you want to go ahead?
Yes. Why aren't women getting married? I have the simple answer for you because men are not asking. Why aren't men asking women to get married? Why aren't men willing to settle down and marry a woman? A very wise man once told me
I got you, Roy.
that we were not designed to be alone.
No,
God
we
did not
wasn't.
design man and woman to
Right.
be alone. So I
Hmm.
call bullshit, not to offend anybody, on anyone who say I'm happy living outside of God's plan. I'm not saying you're not a happy person, but you cannot be happy living outside of God's plan. If we were designed to be together as husband and wife, man and woman, that's how we should be living our lives. Now, I'm not saying jump on the first one and holler at you. No. But like I said in the very first one I got on, if you are trusting that God sent that man to you, you are not putting your trust in man. You are putting your trust in the Lord that this is the man that God sent you.
Yeah,
So therefore,
I agree with that.
women are not getting married because men are not asking. Men are not stepping into their role as being the head and
I
taking on the responsibility and taking that step
I
to
agree with
ask women
that
to marry
because
them.
I wouldn't feel right if a woman asked me to marry. I would. I'm a man.
Well, I would
Right.
never.
Right. I'm a man. I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you want to look at it biblically, because I look at it biblically, or you just want to look at it worldly. Even if you looking at it worldly, you gonna ask me to marry? You gonna ask me? No, you're not. I'm the man. I
Right.
might as well take your last name if you ask. That's how I feel about that. So I do agree with that. Like, but let me get it.
You might as
Let,
well go ahead and put your. You might as well go ahead and put your ankles to your ears, bruh.
right. Roy, what you got? Go ahead, Roy. I'm coming to
I,
you, Jay.
Uh, I got a little bit of pushback. Um, Number one, I don't think God. I think God only played matchmaker one time. That's Adam and Eve. Choosing your spouse is a carnal decision that you sanctify and anoint with the process of marriage, which has become more of a contract between you, them, and the state than it should have been. That's number one. Number two, since we're on the Bible, women like to quote the scripture, "He who findeth a wife findeth a good thing." It's something that a lot of people don't look at. When I find a wife, she had the wife down packed. She had all of the attributes, and she was merely waiting for the title. I didn't have to. I had to customize her to me, but not groom her into wifehood because I don't know how to be a wife. I know what I want one. So she had like 90% of she had the wife part, which is the 90%. That 10% is customizing to know how I like things.
But that
But
just goes through marriage with compromising and everything else. I'm gonna say the
Mm,
short answer for you, because bro, you almost sound like you want a slave, bro. You can't say that's what it sounds like.
it sound like I'm on the what?
That you want a slave. I'm a customizer to me.
Oh,
You,
no, I'm gonna push back on that. Uh, because your wife customized you to her. You
no,
know her.
I compromise on things.
You do you know what Jill
Which
likes?
is really big on in
Yeah,
relationships.
Will you put yourself in a certain amount of discomfort or back
yeah.
seat, if you will, for a second to make sure she has the things she wants?
Of course, that's my wife.
That's customizing.
Tomato, tomato. We're gonna move on. Mr. Huckleberry, go ahead.
Oh, the wife thing. I probably won't do it again. Um, my first one. I've been married twice, divorced twice, but um, the first marriage I wasn't ready. We was just having a bunch of kids, but you know,
You're a
like
Huckleberry.
yeah, yeah, for real. And now honestly dealing with the fallout of all that, my middle son, uh, we had a real heart to heart when I was out in Texas the last time, about a month ago or less, and he was like he don't know me, and we communicate, we do our thing, you know what I'm saying, and but it wasn't fully what he needed. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
along, we're talking about marriage, and there's a lot of things that go along with that. You
right.
talk about compromise. Yeah, there is compromise, but the bruh in the green, he was saying, you know, fashioning her to him. You know what I'm saying? And then he was saying, you fashioning uh, her to you, and then but then we get in that, yes, we are, as far as the biblical stance, we are the head of the household, we are the protector, and we, so many of us are out of that role, um and it is challenging now because these women, Miss Lash, I know she's doing okay, you know what I'm saying, or uh these women are pulling down six figures. They're doing this. They're not having kids. So why would I tie down with this guy who is, he's blue collar worker, good dude, hard worker, give you everything that he can. You know what I'm saying? I would say loyal, because I'm and yet no, we're not married. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't fit the criteria that she wants now. You know what I'm saying? We're not, because a lot of women, when they get married young, give up on their dreams, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Some will pursue going to college,
Mhm.
but you're still taking care of the kids, or and he going to work, but you taking care of the kids, uh, and so that whole dynamic, the challenge that are associated with that brings about calamity, and so then we have a lot of failed marriages, and then we have the offspring of those failed marriages that start asking questions when they get to the age of understanding, and you got to sidestep them, or you got to deal with that head on. You feel me?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I have a
That's real.
question. I have a question. Is it the
Can,
women
can
that
we go ahead? Go
what?
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Wayne. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You say women are saying that men no longer fit the criteria because we're making six figures. Is that our hang up or yours?
Well, see
Because
that there you go. Mm.
me in my
Go ahead.
financial
Go ahead.
situation, I wouldn't care
Mm.
what you're making because to me it's not about
Mm.
the money. But I do need for you to be the man. So
Mm.
if you're feeling some kind of way about my finances, I don't know what to do about that because I'm not gonna quit my job.
All right,
I'm not
Right.
going to.
hey Janelle, I'm gonna let you ponder on that, but I want to give
Yeah.
Jay
Yeah.
a chance to speak.
For sure.
Go ahead, Jay.
On which part
Any
exactly?
part you want.
Okay, so going back to what we're saying, the the whole the Bible and how everything is going right now. I want to say it's not that it's a lack of faith going on, but I will say that everybody's worshiping certain things. I ain't gonna like make it seem as if we just worshiping money, but a lot of people are worshiping like things that are superficial, things that don't bring them any value in life, things that are just non-factors. And as far as getting married and to touch on the whole woman proposing to you part, funny enough, that has actually happened to me. I want to say twice, where a woman has proposed to
Mm.
me, and to my core, it didn't feel right. Like I wouldn't say yes, not just because it's a woman asking me. I wouldn't say yes because I felt like it wasn't coming from the right place. I don't feel like I felt like it was being asked for an ulterior motive. Like there was something behind it. That's the reason why you're asking me instead of
Mm-hmm.
you giving me the opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
approach
Oh yeah.
and make that grand gesture. Because to ask somebody to marry you to spend the rest of your life with, that's a pretty grand gesture. And it's funny that you asked me. I just think this is hilarious and how funny this ties in because you asked me this after I got some traction on a Facebook post on people asking about, oh, we're afraid to get married because y'all still cheating. And you as my friend, I'm a little Facebook comedian. You
Yeah.
know that I post stuff and people go crazy over the post. Um, but I was getting a lot of traction on that post, and there was a guy that served with us in the force, and he was so adamant and down hard about women are pretty much like evil and don't don't get married, this and the third. I'm like, look, it's okay if you don't believe in love. It's okay because as a man, we go through so many things and traumas and therapy. I don't think there's enough therapy in the world that can equate to what we need to talk about as black being a black man in America or being a black man in this world. Like there's not enough therapy
Preach.
to to
Mm.
equate to what we need to discuss and uncover and go on about ourselves because as not just men but as black men we go through certain traumas that is just Caucasian men, Asian men, Hispanic men don't go through
Preach.
in
Hey,
this
so
country.
yeah, he right. Because when we were serving on the ship together, everybody knew who I was. I don't play no racism shit. Nobody. I don't care
Right.
you black, white, or brown. And what he just said is the fact that the trauma that I think a lot of women don't understand the trauma that black men really go through. They think we supposed to be super masculine all the time. And can't we might have an ego, but we got fucking emotions. As I always say, my ego is just as fragile as a woman's emotions. And people and women never understand it about a man. But I do want to go
Yeah.
back to the question that Miss Lash asked Mr. Huckleberry. I would like for you to answer that, sir.
Okay.
Okay. What was the question?
Can you repeat it?
Man, because I started. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Miss Lash. We want to repeat that question.
You had said that when women start making six figure incomes, men no longer fit the criteria for us to want to
Okay.
marry them. My thing is that my hang up or yours?
Okay. So let me.
Yeah, because if money for me is not an issue, I refuse to argue
Mhm.
over money. So if you're looking
Right.
at my income like that's a problem, then that's
Mhm.
your problem. It's not my problem. I feel like.
I'm I can agree with that. No, I don't have a problem. She bringing down the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'll be Mr. Cleanup in there doing what I need to do. But still, and on the other side of that, still as a man, we have to work. You know what I'm saying? You don't work, you don't eat. That was instilled in us. That's how we came up in the 304. You know what I'm saying? So um,
Mhm.
to say that I'm not intimidated by it because I've grown to that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't because now a lot of men worked fresh out of high school and did not go to college. So now a lot of us are going at a later age, going back to college to get whatever degree or whatever that they're
Call from
pursuing
Tanya. To accept, press 1.
to
To send a voicemail, press 2.
Excuse me, we got a caller coming in. Hello, Tanya.
Yes. Hey, how are you?
All right, welcome to the Cotton Conversation. How you doing? You want to share your opinion?
Oh, yes, I do want to share my opinion. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
so
Okay, I'm gonna charm in on, and this is coming from a married woman. I'm just sharing my opinion, just charming and listening on why women or men or people in general is getting less married nowadays because it takes work and people don't want to work. They don't want to work
Mhm.
together. They don't want to work on themselves. It's also fear and whatnot. I can name, and it's just want to do it for the right reasons and whatnot. So, I mean, some people don't belong together.
That's true. Some people don't belong together.
that's true. Mm.
I ain't gonna get. I'm gonna leave me alone because I shouldn't have got married the first time. And then, I just tell the
You
truth,
know,
man. It is what it is. Hey, I'm happy that we got a beautiful son from that marriage. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy about
of
that.
course,
You
of
know what I'm
course,
saying?
of course.
I don't wish her no ill will or anything. In fact, I got to pay her for the rest of my life. But but the rest of her natural life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
But
marriages is contracts
right.
and whatnot.
So when you say women, it's just so much going on right here. I agree with it, with
Right.
with everybody what Cynthia said because I experienced that. What Jay said, I didn't experience that. What Tanya said, I didn't experience that. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, and then and JB said, sorry, not to cut you off, and then earlier I'm responding to the young lady that's online about men is not stepping up to I have a daughter, so I gotta look I gotta look for potential son-in-law too to fulfill what I'm saying, those shoes and whatnot and step to the plate. But these men nowadays is transforming into want to be females.
Mhm.
well,
I
well,
mean,
Could you expound on that?
Mhm.
What,
there you go.
where's the line? Where's the line? Because um, for lack of a better word, I'm a little bit prissy because I'm getting these hands and feet done. I have a skin regimen, but I'll bust your shit to the fat meat if
well,
you get
hell,
out of
that's
pocket.
me too. That's
um,
Walk too. That's Jay
yeah,
too. That's
But yeah,
everybody.
let's yeah,
But there's
That's
nothing
we'll
just
get
wrong
back to
with
that.
self care, right?
yeah.
I wouldn't
Absolutely,
even,
there's nothing
exactly.
to
wrong
Self
with
me,
that.
it's
care.
self care. It's self care. There's nothing wrong
Wrong
with
with that.
that. It's just the fact that after you get your feet and nails done and you go switching out the place. That's
Oh,
what you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's the problem. That's the problem. There's no reason why my man is switching more than I am. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
For
That's the
sure.
problem
Absolutely.
I have. Or just the fact of that, and it goes back to like when Tanya, I think it was Tanya that said men just
Yeah.
aren't men anymore. And they're looking, like I said, it even goes back to where I'm listening to men about dating, right? And it was so funny because I was at the gas pump the other day, and my 14-year-old, every time I go to, he's like, okay, mom, show me what I got to do so you don't have to pump your gas. And so, older white guy was like, oh, you're teaching him, I said, oh, yeah. I said, he doesn't want me getting out my car to go pump gas. So he's wanting to learn how to use my card, what all he has to push and whatever else. And so the guy was like, well, that's it. I said, well, yeah. I said, because my father told me there's three things I'm never to touch in the presence of a man: my
Amen.
Yeah.
purse, a
Mm-hmm.
door, or the gas pump. And let me tell you something. Anytime I hear dude these days, and I'm gonna say dude because to me they're not men. And you
Yeah.
gotta realize I was raised by my father from age 12 to 17. And when I start hearing dudes complaining about going on dates and women only want to go out to dates for free food, that's not women. You're dating children, you're
Mm-hmm.
dating
Right.
females, you're dating little girls. Because let me tell you something, I don't date for a free meal because I date myself very well. But what we not gonna do
Mm-hmm.
is, like I think I said this before, we're not going for coffee. I do my coffee at 6 a.m. We not doing Dutch because if we got to do Dutch, I'm going by myself. That's just if we gonna date, we gonna date. You're not
Okay.
gonna text me to death. I'm
Hmm.
a grown woman. We gonna have a phone conversation. That's what we gonna do. I'm grown woman status.
Go
So
ahead,
this is
Mr.
what upset
Huckleberry. Hey,
me these
Cynthia, we're gonna
days.
come back to you. You done made me feel good.
I was saying I had to, like you know yeah, I appreciate that. I wanted to if the caller's still on, I wanted to throw something in her direction because she brought up some good point about a lot of the fractured mental state. Oh, she didn't say it this way, but the fractured state of the man and the woman, and so you're fractured going into
Yeah.
these relationships looking for that piece of your puzzle that's missing, that because it's fractured. And there is healing that takes place because I can blame a whole lot of things on this one or whatever, but yet a lot of the blame falls on me too because of my inadequacies in the relationship or
Correct.
whatever. And what we understood as a man, like I said, a man should work. If you don't work, you don't eat. But in later on in the conversation, we all said, we take care of ourselves. Now I haven't, uh, heck, I got my eyebrows done. That was a first. You know what I'm saying? Just to get them trimmed up.
I
You know what I'm
haven't done
saying?
that.
But
I
but
like mines. They
but like
natural.
but
They
like he
sexy.
but like he said, don't test me. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But we have to understand that is part of our regimen for our mental health also, and that's something that we don't talk about as much in the black. Well, we may be
Yeah,
starting to
mental
talk
health
about it
matters.
now, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't talk about mental health. You know what I'm saying? And so some. I mean, I didn't realize that I was poor until I moved to Charlotte. You understand what I'm saying? I
Right.
didn't I didn't realize how like good day. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. There's a big
Um,
difference.
it was a major difference. So adapting to that culture, moving from the hills of West Virginia to Charlotte was a big deal. And then I went in the Navy, but yeah, I just there those are topics that we don't discuss. We cousin Ray, he up in the room, he crazy is all get out, but we're not addressing that. You know what I'm saying? We don't address that in the family. Just he crazy anyway. But that mental
He a little
health
tough.
is
Hmm.
huh? Hmm?
Oh, from
Yeah, he
West
a
We
little
Virginia?
always
touch.
used to say they special or they a little touch.
Yeah,
That's how
he
they
a
used
little
to say
touch.
it. Yeah, he
Yeah.
special. He
Hey,
a
Right,
if
little
you
Yeah.
walking
touch.
right.
around the
Yeah.
house in Stacy Adams boots and tidy whitey drawers, you ain't touched.
So you
It's so
certified?
funny.
Y'all only laughing
Yeah,
because you got a
you
family member
certified.
that do it.
Mm.
But
But we
yeah,
but we
so
don't
hey,
we don't.
I wanted to say
Mm,
one more thing before we move on to about
mm,
generation wealth and stuff.
mm,
Miss Lash, you talk about the money, and I agree with us. It's not about the money. It never been about the money for me. It's like I always look like this. I got my own. If you can't add to that, you damn sure not gonna take from it.
Yep.
End of
Hmm.
story.
mm,
If I
I
may,
go ahead.
um, I don't care for y'all homeboy Steve Harvey, and some of y'all don't either. But he made a joke about a guy that went out with a woman, and the guy ordered a salad and pasta, and the woman ordered a $90 bottle of wine and a lobster. And dude was like, "I'll pay for my share." And Steve leaned in on the young dude, college student. But what he didn't know about the whole situation was, number one, she asked him out, and number
Hmm.
two, she picked the restaurant. And I agree
mm.
with your father and your grandfather on 90%, on 66%. But if you invite me out, I expect you to pay.
And that's what I say. I have no problem
Yeah,
with,
Well,
and I
that's
do
that's
do that. I
different. I
plan
agree with you
dates.
on that.
I whatever else. That's a different story. But like I said, nowadays guys aren't trying to pay for anything, right?
Right.
They're like, yo, they out here just trying to get free meals, and that's where it gets to the
mm,
point of like, again, if you out here in the dating world, and it goes on both ends. You can't sit up here and think you're going to date and you taking somebody to McDonald's.
Well, you know
You
what's
understand what I'm
wrong?
saying? Or
Right. You know what's wrong with
but
the
that's all
dating
I
world?
got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if all I got is McDonald's, I'm good.
but you know what? But the thing
That's
about it is, it's not. But the thing
mm,
about it is like I said, McDonald's. Like I said, you'll insult me with it,
mm,
McDonald's. I'd rather for you to be like, you know what? Let's go do a picnic. Let's, you know what? You got to be
Mm.
creative.
Look,
Use
Everything
your
doesn't have to be
imagination. I
$90
can dig it.
steaks and
Mm-hmm.
whatever
So,
else.
Mm-hmm.
but
I'm
this
that type of person that it's like, you know what? We can go get a look. I got a picnic basket. You need one? You look. You bring this. You bring this. I got the
Mm-hmm.
basket and the blanket. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always have to be like I said. People have to get creative and get
Mm-hmm.
outside of that. It's either the movies or we got to go get a $90 bottle of wine, $90 steak, and it's crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to get
Mm-hmm.
out of that mindset. I don't have just you because like I said, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't doing McDonald's. I don't do McDonald's on my
Mm-hmm.
end at
Yeah,
all. I'd be
yeah,
damn if I'm allowed
right.
you to take me to McDonald's. I ain't a Happy Meal eating chick. If we gonna do a
Mm-hmm.
picnic, I need some sandwiches or something, peanut butter and jelly. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what it is. I like to eat. I'm from West Virginia. I'm a big bone girl. I tell you real quick. You ask me out on a date, I
Mm-hmm.
ain't a salad eating or water drinking chick. That's
hey
not
Jay,
me. Cause I'm gonna be sitting up there and I like to eat. I eat.
hey Jay, now you see why
Hey,
I was so
Scent,
crazy
next
on the
time I'm
ship.
in Connecticut, I'm bringing
huh?
possum sweet potatoes.
I said, now you see why
You
I'm so
bringing what?
crazy on the ship.
Possum
West
with sweet
Oh
Virginia.
yeah.
potatoes.
Hey, you look, you throw some collard greens in that bad boy and some potato salad, we good to go.
See,
I'm
Oh
with
yeah.
you on that one.
like, ain't
Well,
nobody said
and
nothing. Hey, Miss Lash, you been quiet today. You okay? You ain't got your wine? Jeanette Milner supposed to been
I
here,
have
but
a question. I have a question because y'all is so much going through my mind right now. Because I'm on the topic of why women aren't getting married. Let me ask you for men, because I hear men say all the time, about how it ain't like that no more. About
Mm-hmm.
when women refer to, what kind of man my grandfather was and my father was, and they say, no,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't making men like your grandfather. Why not? Why
bullshit.
aren't
Here,
they anymore?
well,
yeah,
here I am.
bullshit,
Yeah, I am.
bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You got
No, I'm serious, but men will say, they don't, men ain't the same
That's
no more. Ain't no
if
more men
men
like
say
that
that,
no
then
more.
that's not a man that you want to marry. I tell
Mm-hmm.
anybody that. If my son was to say that to
I,
you, you don't marry my son.
I mean, if I can step in, I will say that going towards the times that we're in right now, we have a lot of less ambitious men. There are a lot of
Say
men
that
out
again,
there
because your
that there's a
because your
lot
mic is
less
still kind of
ambitious.
messed up.
Oh, can you hear me better now?
You're like
Yeah, you
in and out.
good.
Go ahead.
You going in and out. I don't
No,
know why.
I was just saying that there's a lot less ambitious men out here today.
I
Like
agree.
towards the times, it's a lot less ambitious. And going back towards what you were asking, the question you asked about the hang up. What I think for a woman, if I were in a position, I'm gonna answer for myself. I can't speak for another man. I don't know your situation, but for if a woman were to be making more than me income wise, my job as a man, I feel like should be to be building. If I can't produce on the financial end, I gotta build. Me personally, I'm a hustler. I'm a barber by trade, and also do programming, computer, and I got a whole bunch of other skill sets that I do have and possess. But I hustle. If the money's out there, I'm gonna go get it. So you making how much you make doesn't affect me because I know I'm always gonna eat. But as a man, I feel like our men aren't being taught. These younger men aren't being taught to build. They're just taught to just go with the flow and take whatever life is thrown at them, and that's the reason why women
Yes,
are kind of walking over men because they're not taught to build. Like uh, as far as the generational curses, going to the next topic, the reason why I
Mhm.
feel like we can't break generational curses because America is killing us. Like educational wise, educationally, America is killing these kids. If you look at the curriculum of what's actually being taught, none of it is useful. None of it is
I
useful.
think we'll all agree that the school system is very antiquated. I mean, everybody know about the school, the
Mm-hmm.
prison pipeline, all of this great. But I also will agree that if you're not taking technology, like I taught myself how to do all of this, I didn't
Right.
know. So if you're not taking the time to read and learn, instead of sitting in front of the TV, at some point, education is on yourself because America's giving you 12 years of education, and that education is so antiquated that that doesn't even matter anymore. You know what I'm saying? As the school system by whose school system by Robert Kennedy, I think, the original Robert Kennedy. The school system is by, and he said it. I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of doers. Go look it up.
Right.
I read a lot. I'm sorry, but he said I want a nation of doers. So
Well, if I can interject again, if I
Go
can
ahead.
interject again, lately, personally, in my personal life, my journey to growing into the man I want to become, I just been on this path of like learning, like being a sponge. They always tell you to be a sponge. They've been telling us as black folks that we need to be sponges in this here society because there are
Yes.
so many ways to get what you want, but you gotta step out on that branch and go take it. And I say that because I've been watching Kevin Hart. Now it's funny. It's funny. He's a funny guy. He's a comedian. But I was watching an interview with him last week, and he said one of the most important things I've ever heard any black person ever say. He said they asked him a question. They said if you had to tell yourself at the beginning of your career, before you got as big as you are now, what would you tell yourself? And that's a question that a lot of people get asked throughout their lifetime. At some point in their lifetime, I'm quite sure everybody's gonna ask that question. This man answered with one of the most beautiful answers. He said, "I would tell myself, never stop learning and invest more and often." So, an investment doesn't always mean money. Invest can also be time. Invest can be in people. You don't. It's a very abstract term, and the never stop learning, never stop learning. Don't stop. Don't start and stop with school. Your education system. Never stop learning how to reinvent things. Reinvent yourself.
Hey,
Never stop learning how to cook.
Jay, let me cut you off for a minute. Well,
Mhm.
Roy, do we pass the test?
Yeah.
He's a young man, 27, very wise at a young age.
I would have to interview him for. I would have to observe him for another month or two without him knowing. But yeah, he could probably get mentored.
Nah, hey, I know he can. Like just like how
Okay.
you checked me out, I checked him out. Ask him, he'll tell you. He
Okay.
used to cut my hair. I talked to him a lot.
Yeah.
For all of y'all that
He's
don't know, I interviewed
somebody
Mr.
who's
Lewis
already
for
been.
6 months, whether he
Mhm.
could be my protege or not, if I was willing to
Whatever.
mentor.
Hey, we do. Me and Roy do got a dynamic relationship, as y'all see, because it is what it is. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he
but
like a brother to me. Love him.
yeah. But Miss Lash, going back to your question, I don't think men has changed because I think a woman has to demand what she wants from a man. We don't know. Y'all do the choosing. And go ahead, Roy.
Um, I'm a, I'm a. I talked to William about this, and I said it to him. I am a somewhat easier to get along with version of my grandfathers, and society can barely deal with me. I want to be married again because I want children. I want my children raised in my household. A lot of times, the problem that I personally run into is that your role is not to be shoulder to shoulder with me. You're not my competition. If we fall into our natural roles that have worked for millions of years, we'll be all right. I have a responsibility. I answer to God directly as the head of a household. That doesn't mean you don't have a voice, a vote, and the right to question me.
Yeah, you see Sin's
Because
face. She ready to go. Don't hurt him, Sin.
if I marry you,
What?
I'm qualified.
I that ain't why I'm ready to go. I'm just trying to understand. Like he out here talking about wanting more kids. Damn, ain't you damn near 50?
I am damn near 50, but it's not more kids. It's kids. You didn't listen.
He don't have
What?
any
It doesn't
kids.
matter. You damn near 50. You out here trying to make babies.
And I'm wrong because
I'm just saying. I mean, you're not wrong. I'm just trying to figure out like what the hell going on here. But go ahead. I'll let you finish.
men contribute to the gene pool well into their 80s if they live right and stay healthy.
Oh, so you must be looking for a young wife. That's what you over here in the 20 category, huh?
Hey,
20 is
I
a
hope
hard
not. Jay
sell.
just told
20.
him don't do that. Jay told him. Jay just told him about them young
I
girls.
would I would only not advise it only because there's a thing there's a thing like it's like a self actualization where you start to realize your mindset doesn't equate. like you being at the age that you are and trying to run into a younger woman in her 30s, she may be mature as an individual, as an adult, not for her age. She just may be a mature individual, maybe on her business, on her grind. She may be financially stable. However, your mindsets and those wavelengths, they don't balance out, and
Good point, sir. Good point.
you
Good
might
point.
Well,
you might have difficulty trying to culminate what it is that you're looking for as far as raising your kid in the home,
Yep.
because it's not the matter of that she'll leave you or whatever the case may be. It's just that your interests may not be in line. And I personally wouldn't recommend it. Me personally, um, I there's nothing wrong with being within a 10-year range gap, whatever the case may be. My grandparents are 6 years apart, so
Mm-hmm.
it's ain't nothing wrong with being a couple. But when you cross certain thresholds, I don't know how it works. I wish
Go
you best
ahead,
of luck
Mr.
though.
Huckleberry. Who is that buzzing so?
Okay, okay. Oh, I got a call.
Oh,
The well, that last comment with Sims was saying my phone back again. Sims was saying that getting these young women have, and then young bro was saying not dealing with the young women. Man, I personally would not ever deal with anybody anywhere near my one of my children's age. Okay, because I'm getting ready to throw a whole boulder in the middle of everything. But a lot of these dudes that's dealing with these younger, this is wait a minute. My disclaimer is this is my personal thought. Okay, a lot of these dudes is getting with these younger women because of the inadequacy with women that are our age. Okay, they are demanding far more from us. They are, and the thing is, it's not that we can't do it. It's just we choose not to because these young girls, I get them sneakers or whatever.
Right.
They'll
Maybe she
they'll
will.
they'll go to McDonald's.
Easier to
You know what I'm
please.
saying? And in my mind, go ahead.
No, I'm saying
Uh,
easier to please.
it's easier to please because they don't want nothing because they're looking for a father. And a lot of times we do that. No, I can't even say we. Those guys do that, and they grooming these little girls. Then you have the savages that we have now with these younger women. I mean, you look at Megan. What's her background? You look at the Nickies. You know what I'm saying? What's their background with what they dealt with coming up? You know what I'm saying? I'm going off on a tangent a bit because we're supposed to be talking about the generational
no,
wealth.
I do. Keep going.
But
I got it. Keep going.
yo,
Keep
but
going. I
it's
got
but
it.
it's but that is something that is a cancer in our community. Go ahead,
Go
bro.
ahead, Jay.
If I can say one thing, one small thing, men and women dealing with younger potential partners, the only thing that
Mhm,
will do for you is probably boost your self esteem a
mhm,
smidge and keep you young. That's the only good thing about messing with younger people than you yourself is because it keep you young. Yeah, you want to stay a little bit more fit and active so that way you can go put in work later after y'all
mhm,
come back from dinner. You want to put in work later, whatever
mhm.
the case may be.
Yeah,
You want to
Right.
stay, you want to seem cool and hip,
I see you, Miss
whatever the case may
Lass.
be. But that's my little nugget. That's the only nugget I have.
Yeah,
Mhm,
but this is how I tied into generational wealth and generation curse
mhm,
because what you just said, what what y'all talking about is nothing new under the sun.
Right.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing new under the sun. I do agree with everything that you were saying about men need to be better fathers. Uh, one of the reasons I put up with a lot of stuff in my first marriage that I know I shouldn't have because I wanted to build a foundation and break that generational curse of a broken
mhm,
family.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? So I put up with a lot of stuff that normally I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Until I just couldn't. And but
mhm,
if you want to talk about when I was growing up, shit, like Huck said, shit, I was poor. You know what I'm saying? I know what
mhm,
it's like to be poor. If I can't get a
Same.
woman to build with me, she damn sure ain't gonna take it from me. End of
mhm,
story. And that's how I choose my women. I don't choose women that come out here and just be loud and ugly. I can't do that.
What the what?
The devil is a lie.
You got a
I'll
text
do.
message or something?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we mic'd up. Okay.
I got a piece.
Can't hear you, William.
I know. I said I don't know what that was, but this is better. If you got a pee, go pee.
Mm,
No,
Maybe
I
that's
said I
what the
got a
microphone
piece.
was doing,
I
telling me to
wouldn't
shut
say
up.
that. I would. It's. I do have some decorum.
Yeah.
Um. Uh. Andrew Tate just got banned from like every social media site, but he said something that's controversial. But back to Cynthia and 20-year-olds. My soft floor is 30. I need a woman
mm,
with some life experience, not just some young ovaries.
mm.
But
Yeah, Jeanette,
Andrew
just
Yeah.
Tate
50.
said, huh?
Go ahead.
Andrew Tate said men run the race of life and young women stand at the finish line and fuck the winner.
Mm.
And you can say the usual response is not all. And I
Mm,
agree, not all,
mm,
but it does exist. And men complain about women going on a date for the meal. They call it a foodie call, not a booty call, a foodie call. And 30% of women interviewed across from like 23 to 48, 30% were like, yeah, I've done that. And that's
mm,
men, you can get a lot from us, but once we feel like we're being taken advantage of, you can't get nothing else from us.
Yeah.
I
And
mm,
don't
that
understand how women how they do that because I'm the type of person, like I said, I ain't like everybody and I'm not built for everybody. I know that. But if
I
I
would
don't
agree.
like you, there ain't enough meal in the world to make me want to waste my time to go hang out with you just for free. My time is valuable, and you can't buy my valuable time with a meal. I'm just
Would you say
sorry.
that in your
That
20s?
is just me.
Would you say that about 25 to 32? Would have said that about 25 to 32? Cuz you today, we all know how valuable time is. But would you say that in your
mm,
Hmm.
20s about 25 to 32? Would you say that in your early 20s?
What doing that going out? I didn't do that then.
Oh, okay.
I I let me tell you something. I have never had to use a man for anything. And that goes back to where I was raised, not just by my father. I was raised independent, right? I was independent. So for me to have to go out here, there was nothing that and which can some could say was a problem, but for me, there was nothing that a man can do that I couldn't do for myself.
Cuz you
Because that was how
generation
my
X,
father
baby. You
changed a
generation
tire.
X. Y'all don't
You
get it.
know, my father taught me how to change a tire, but I ain't gonna lie because I'm in this mindset now, and I had to tell somebody, "Oh shit, I'm gonna play the damsel in distress today." Let me go out here and act like I'm a little helpless because
You just
because
use the man for his
men.
knowledge and his strength and his expertise.
Exactly.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? And every now and then I act like I'm just a cute face until you challenge my intelligence. And then I flip the script real quick, right? But it's so funny because no BS. I went out on a date a couple weeks ago. And the one thing is that when we got out and we met, and when I got out, we whatever, and he's like, "Why you got your purse?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean? Why do I have my purse?" And I was like, he's like, "You don't need your purse." I was like, "What?" He's like, "When you with me, you don't need my Lord have mercy. I think I about creamed right then and there. I was like, "Oh, you what my daddy been talking about all this time." Okay,
she went
mm,
to the
right?
bathroom and
But
got
it's just
draws like
not
this.
it's just not that, right? But the other part about it is that his thing was like, "You know what?" He goes, "You're gonna call me." And one of the things he's like, "You call me out on my bullshit."
Yeah,
Yeah.
a man wants that
Uh-huh.
from a woman.
Yep.
Exactly. I call
yeah.
him out on his bullshit.
Hmm.
Because it like this, and I say it every time, and I made it clear. I'm not going to chase you,
Hmm.
but I don't expect you to chase me either because if you're chasing me, I don't want to be caught.
You know what that's called? Being a man or
What's
a
that called?
woman of your word. I don't have to chase you. If I
That
say
I
I'm
get
gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. End the story. I don't have to
exactly. And
call you
so
40 times.
exactly. But my thing is too is that what you're not going to do is you're not going to treat me like an option,
Right?
and I'm not at your convenience.
Right.
And I don't do when people be talking about, oh, I match energy. Yeah, like you say, you give a woman a house, she make it a home. Like I said, you give me, I give you. But when you act like you don't want to be bothered, oh, I'm not giving you that energy. I just cut you off.
Now, I
I don't
think
play
what
those
Tanya
games.
is saying, men are different because we want that same thing. We,
Mm-hmm.
we that's where we different at now. We're not just taking that shit no more. We want the same thing. We want you to match that energy when it comes to us as well. We're not an
Mm-hmm.
option. Like I said, a man's ego is just as fragile as a woman's emotions, and nobody want to talk about that. It's real. So that's
But it
where we
depends on
different
the
at.
kind of energy that a man is giving a woman. Now, you might think
Hmm.
you're giving me good energy, but that's what you're thinking. But it's how I receive it. If I'm thinking you're not giving me all that you think you're giving me, because you might think you're doing big shit, when in reality, you're doing bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this is
So
If
where it
that's your
also
standards,
comes
then
to a
it's your
well,
responsibility to call that man out on his bullshit.
I
And
was
y'all
going to
just
say
sit here and
now,
say it.
now
exactly.
if I come back at you and tell you, hey, this is what I need you to do, or what I want you to do, because I'm of the mindset too. I should not have to need a man because in my mind, if I need you, I'm using you.
Right.
But if I want you in my life, then
Hmm.
that's me choosing you. Because if I need you, once I get what I need, I'm done with you. I don't need you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right.
And I think
So
men
as a
mistake
man,
that for something else. When they hear
right?
women say, I don't need a man, they look at it as, and I tell anybody, it's not that I need you, it's that I want you. Right? And you
That
ought to want
sounds
to
much
be
better than I
wanted.
don't need
And
a
that's how
man.
I want to be wanted. Because like again, my children need me. I don't want another child I have to take care of. But like I said, but I think the other issue that we have is that people want to love people the way they want to love them. You got to love me the way I want to be loved. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? You can't sit up
Yes.
here and if I'm not that, get again, gifts are nice. I ain't gonna knock it. You want to give me a gift, but it goes back into the love language. Me, I like time, attention, and affection. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, rub my booty while we in public. I ain't got a problem with that. But time, attention, and affections are my love language.
Go
That's
ahead, Jay.
me. That,
I'm sorry, sis.
So,
huh?
so, so
Jay been wanting to talk for a minute.
going back to what was said earlier, about like calling a man out, like on his shit. I would say that Wendy said it best. The INDEPENDENT. That independent woman. Men do love it, and for the men who don't uh, love and appreciate an independent woman, personally, in my opinion, I feel as if they're insecure. I feel like that's an insecure man who cannot handle an independent woman. And I'm gonna speak for myself. I can't speak for nobody else in here, but they say that guys go after this toxic woman who is willing to curse him out and do all these things to him, and that's what we go back to, and that's what we in love with, and that's what the type of women we chase. We don't chase after the nice girl, and the same thing vice versa with women, how they chase after the bad guy who ain't treating them right. But in actuality, it's just a disconnect because that woman that they're saying is toxic and is going to call them out and do X, Y, Z is nothing more than the fact that she's an individual. She's a free-minded thinker, and she got her own stuff going on in her world. You can't handle it, and men tend to shy
Mhm.
away from that because of insecurity within themselves. So I was just going back and agreeing with you saying as far as like calling man out on that.
But it's also how you say it too, right? If I'm gonna call
Yeah,
you out on your BS, I'm not like, yo, I'm not coming off all aggressive, right? And I'm just
right,
gonna be like, hey, I didn't like when you do this, or it's all about how you say it. And like I said, and that comes to a problem where a lot of women don't know how to talk to men.
right,
True that.
And that's a big issue. They don't know how
True
to
that.
talk to men,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel that they got to come off on them like they wanna, like they one of the homies or whatever else with this attitude, yelling and cursing, head, moving. No, and
So
and it's like like I
for
said,
go ahead.
no,
I'm
and
sorry, but
that's how it is. Just like I said with this one guy, he was like, we had the conversation, and I'm like this because he was like, I'll call you when I get out the shower. I'm like, all right, cool. So then, like a couple hours later, whatever else, he's like, "Why I haven't heard from you?" Well, I figured you were still in the shower. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. You said you call me when you get out the shower. Be a man of your word, right? And that's me. Be a man of your word. Because if you say you're gonna call me when after this, I expect you to call me then. And,
Right.
and that's just it. And so he's like, yeah, I got, he's like, I really have to watch what I say to you. I was like, well, no, you don't have to. But like I said, if you say you're gonna do something, I expect you to do it. I'm gonna hold your
Mm,
feet to the fire.
Yeah. Right. And that's what I mean. But going back to what Miss Lash was saying, we want that same energy. We want to be
mm,
valued just as much as that. And you can call it petty, you call it whatever. But we are tired. Men are tired of bending over backwards for ungrateful women. And that's not everybody. It's not every woman. It's my opinion. So if y'all
Yep.
anybody want to say something, say it. I don't give a fuck. Um, Men are tired of bending over for ungrateful women. So now that most men has built their own, we're telling you what we want.
mm.
We don't. It's like you said. I don't want you. I mean, I don't need you. I want you. We're doing the same thing, and that's where the change is coming from, right there. Go ahead, Mr. Huck.
Okay, I wanted to tie in what Jay was saying to from generational curses to the relationship to generational wealth. A lot of times, with Sent talking about, holding our feet to the fire, and Lou, you saying that we have our demands now also. You know what I'm saying? Not suffering in silence anymore, and actually articulating what we desire. But a lot of that. So I'm tying into generational curses. The generational curses, uh, single family homes. Okay, so now when I hear, not necessarily my mom or whatever, when I hear moms, moms yelling at the son, you just like your daddy, blah blah blah, and then so that yelling, tying in with Jay saying with that toxic relationship, that's what I know. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so now I've sparked the lineage of, she's got to, she don't love me unless she's yelling at me, unless
Mm-hmm.
she's demeaning me, unless she's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We got to seek counseling for that. You know what I'm saying? And then we, a lot of our the black, not a lot, but there are black women that who are on federal and state help that that ties into, I'm still, I don't need no man. You know what I'm saying? Not from an educated standpoint or anything like that. I'm just saying this is one of those curses that we're tied into. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? From the spelling of the family in the 70s. Okay, so now we're not being taught generational wealth because we're getting it from the state. I don't need no man because I'm getting it from the state. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Or federal, however it is now. So, and then on the on the woman's side of the coin, daddy wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that uh, dialogue with my dad or anything like that. So I'm a find him somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So whatever he brings me, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So those curses tie into us not being knowledgeable financially because we get it however, and not building, not investing in life insurance, not understanding the stock. But we are with Jay's generation. They're starting to learn that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they have to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're the
We didn't get that.
entrepreneurs. They're doing the IT stuff and everything like that. So it's turning back around. It's just it's a very slow turn. But still, uh, they're not having kids. They're not getting married. So now, what I'm saying, we're just, there's that independence of, I don't want anyone like that. We're gonna, we can do our own thing or whatever, but this is as far as it's going.
I got you, Jay. Jeanette Milner, she wanted to, I don't know if y'all see, I put her comment up there.
I saw that, and you know I want to chime in on that because
Yeah.
Jeanette already know where I'm gonna go with that one. No, generational
No,
trauma
no,
and
no.
generational curses go all the way back to slave days,
Yeah.
right? It
Mm,
just don't start in the 70s. It just don't start with the single family. It goes back to slave days. And when you think about how the slaves, and I'm gonna suggest a book because if you haven't read it, you need to read it, and it's called Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome, and
Yep.
it talks
mm,
about how our ancestors and how they handle things, and it's been passed down through us. So for example, back
I don't
then
agree with that,
mothers and
Jeanette.
fathers were preparing their daughters to be raped
Mm,
by their masters. It's no different
jeez.
than today. We're having conversations with our sons about being killed by the police because of the color of their skin. When we
Mm-hmm.
talk about where you talk about the whippings, right? Our ancestors got their asses beat every single day. And
Mm-hmm.
that has been passed down through generations that when you do something wrong, what happened?
You get that ass toe up.
You,
Get beat.
you
Yeah.
got that ass tore up. It goes back to slave day. So it just doesn't start in the 70s or when we come from single parent homes. That generational trauma and generational curses go back to our ancestors back during slavery. So
Well,
it just it just
But
isn't that. It goes back further.
go ahead, Janelle.
at some point we
Put a
have to get
period.
past that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
Yes, we do have a lot of things that the traumas that have not been dealt with. We can talk about them all day, but we don't. They're not being dealt with. We can, it didn't happen. And as Jeanette, sometimes because I'm answering because I saw the thing pop up. Some the toxic relationships with a dual family home.
I'll put it
Yeah,
back up.
because everybody's not doing the role that is bestowed upon them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then when because there at some point in the marriage that having trouble, somebody's not being fulfilled and someone is not upholding their end. We talk about egos. Your ego is the reason why we don't have these strong relationships that we should have. When I'm with someone, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? And we're not, understanding because I don't have a problem, expressing talking my feelings. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women aren't. Some are not used to that. You know what I'm saying? And so then there's that friction associated with that. But yeah, we have had trauma. We still have Uncle Ray up in the room. We're dealing
Hmm.
with his issues, and we haven't dealt with any of it. We talk about it, but we haven't dealt with it. Just like tonight, how are we going to create this generational wealth? You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
we're still limping on the curses or the traumas that from back at whenever. You know what I'm saying?
I
I'm done.
got you. Jay, I'm about to come to you, but I just need to give my cousin a shout out on my logo. My cousin, my mama's first nephew, he did that for me. His info is
Go get this
scrolling
thing.
across
Get
the
this thing.
bottom, huh? So his info is scrolling across the bottom. So if you need digital work or anything, holler at Disabled Studio. He's in the wheelchair and he still do his thing. JB, that go your shout out, bro. Love you. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay. So, two small things. As far as to respond to the question that was put in the chat, uh, as far as the single family home being the only generational curse, I personally don't believe so. I think that as a people, I, for some odd reason, and I hate to say it this way, but I feel like black people are the only ones who really suffer from generational curses. Because really, if you really like look into the dichotomy of it all, white people don't really have these thoughts. Asian people don't really have these thoughts. But what they do when they come to this country from wherever they come from in Asia, they come here, they start a business, and they put their family in from wherever it is. Us as black people, it's not like that. We're not as close as we should be. There's a lot of separation and confusion. I feel like it's a lack of resources to
Mm,
us as a people that causes that generational divide. What I think it is a pair of train tracks, and I use that as a metaphor in a situation because the difference between a millionaire and a homeless person is what you did on what side of the train track. On one side of the train track, you got ghetto, and on the other side, you got suburbs. You got better houses. You got better schools. You got better opportunities. You have better resources on the other side of that train track. So that was one that I wanted to touch on, and then also one thing that Mr. Hug was saying, uh, as far as like you were saying something, you were touching on the way that you were saying something along the lines of like young black men in society and like the traumas and stuff that we face in. It's a conversation. That's a deep conversation that a lot of people are not ready for.
mm,
Yeah,
That's
that
a,
is a
that's
deep
that's a serious
conversation. And people's
conversation.
not ready for it. That's why I like this title of the show, the Economy Conversations, because you like what you talk about. All of this, it's like resources. We are Mr. Huckleberry was saying, we all know why we have generational curses and why we have generational trauma and all that. We know that. Like Roy said, when we gonna put a period in that and move forward? So, like my story, it was like I grew up in the projects, Roach Infested Project. I tell everybody that welfare was my daddy. Hey, Janelle and me and his cousins best friends. I used to hang out with Sam all the time.
Lou, you went down on us real. You hard to
Oh,
hear, Lou.
all right, I'm my fault. You good now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, but I know Janelle's Huckleberry's family real well. You know what I'm saying? And watching that family, and this is why I give them so much credit for my upbringing. Watching that family and how everybody loved each other and how everybody operated. And I'm talking about they granddaddy loved me. Mr. Huck loved me. You know what I'm saying? When we just stole his me and Sam stole his chewing tobacco.
Tell you show did.
You remember? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the resources don't matter. It's the educational part because that family showed me what I can do. You know what I'm saying? That family put value in me. Not that my mama didn't, but it showed me something different.
But
Go
at the
ahead.
same time, you can also say that's a resource.
Yeah, if you want to look at it that way, I mean, tomato, tomato. There it go again. But
They're
but
interchangeable.
huh?
They're interchangeable.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say, it was like the generation trauma and the curses. When I saw that in the family and they took me in and loved me the way they did, that broke a generational curse for me and my family that I had. I done raised two kids. Both of them
Mm-hmm.
graduated. Well, my daughter in nursing school. My son graduated from William and Mary. That was a generation curse that family passed down to me. And people don't realize as we live, when we go through life, the people that we meet, how they can teach you something. Each one is here for a reason. Go ahead, Miss Lash.
Um, I don't know. I was offline for a little bit. My computer had to restart. But and speaking of generational curses, I think one of the worst curses that I don't think people realize they speak on their children is when they talk trash, degrade, talk down about their exes, their whether it be their ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, and then look at their child and say, "You're just like your daddy. You're just like your mama." Well, I just heard you call my dad or my mom no good, a whore, a slut, backstabbing, a bitch, a motherfucker,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And you look at me and say, "You just like your daddy. You just like your mama." So if I'm just like them and they're a motherfucker or a bitch, guess what I'm gonna be? That same
The
A
best
motherfucker and that
motherfucker
same
or a
bitch.
bitch.
Go ahead,
So you
bro.
got to be
Mm-hmm.
careful what you speak on your children because if I want to be just like my mama or my daddy, I'm going to mimic that behavior.
Yeah, I was gonna say that earlier. Where we put
I tell him to be
people,
the best motherfucker I can.
people don't
uh,
understand what you put out is what you put in is what you get out. What you put
Yeah.
Hmm.
into your kids is what they see you do. What these kids are looking when you don't even matter. When you think they're not looking. So the baby sleep.
Yeah, the baby sleep. Well, he's been sleep and he's moving around and yeah. See,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
of
so I
course,
do
because I
agree with
don't play. Gigi puts him down 9 o'clock. We got a bedtime. 9 o'clock. We don't play that.
So, but what are we teaching our kids to build generational wealth? It's like because I done found out so much things after that, after my kids was grown that I could have did for them, like i.e. help them build credit, got them a credit card, certain limit. It's like things I didn't know that I wish I could have done for them. I mean, they okay, they all right. I
Yeah,
mean, but
those are things that I'm learning now, and I'm getting ready to start having children, and these are things that I'm learning now, like the whole credit hack, the investment into stocks. A little goes a long way. Um, you can put, I'm into low risk investment, so what I do, I find stocks that are very low. I invest, I let them sit. Now, through the entirety of your children's youth, you ownership of companies. Your parent, my pops, he owns pieces of companies. So that way, when I get older, he can sell those stocks and give them to me. I do whatever I want with them, and I got money right there. We're building that generational wealth. Um, as far as credit goes, you can do that as well. Um, it's just things that they're not teaching us in school. They're not teaching us.
I know no, we already know the school system is antiquated. We already know they're not teaching us that. But at the same token, when see this is what I'm talking about. Like people crab in the bucket. your generation knows that. The
Yeah.
millennial says that we our generation X, we got most of the money in the world. If you were smart, you'll be trying to open up your investment company and then teach us how to do that. We got the
Hmm.
extra capital.
Financial literacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where's your financial literacy stuff at? Oh Lord, here go
Well, my
Jeanette.
thing is this: you want to start general wealth, start off with some life insurance. Because let me tell you something. I'm so sick or tired of folks with GoFundMe pages.
Yeah,
Life insurance, they don't cost that much. Life insurance
No.
is not as expensive unless you got some underlying health issues. But let me tell you something. My children have life insurance. Something happens to them today, they're covered. I have life insurance. And
right.
so, like I said, if you can afford Jordans or Kobe's or whatever else, you can afford some daggone life insurance.
But see, I think that's a
That's
generational curse too. Everybody want these
yeah.
Jordans, these Kobe's, and like I like to look good. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not talking about that. I like polo, but when you place, like you say, when you place more value on some Kobe's and some Jordans instead of your legacy that you're gonna leave here on this earth, that mindset is just totally backwards to me. Like,
Yeah, them priorities is out the window.
right?
Priorities is
Yeah.
way out the window.
Because right now I
I'm
like to
gonna
buy
chime in
land,
on this
and
one.
people think I'm crazy, but I like to buy land all over.
The two key components to generational wealth is life insurance with an endowment. Like I'll pay when I die, my life insurance goes into a trust and pays for college, so your children don't leave with
Hmm.
student loan debt. But you can earmark that and say, I'm willing to pay for college for this degree path. I'm not paying for little Romeo school, uh, nail school, and nothing like that. If you're going into a STEM program, absolutely pay for it.
As much as people like
And then
power,
home
power gave them the
ownership,
game.
huh?
As much as people like power, power gave them the game. Power book 2, when the boy had to go to college to get his inheritance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
That's what you're talking about. That's the game right there. People don't realize that.
I never watched.
Yeah, I know who you are. Jeanette, call back. Roy walking around, he got a bad connection.
You say call back.
I was telling Jeanette Milner, she called in and then she
You
hung up.
good?
I was
You
trying to
all
put
right?
her on the show because she's supposed to have been on the show originally. But I guess she got busy. Life happens.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Miss
I
Lash.
agree with Cynthia when you're talking about generational wealth, life insurance, because it's something we don't do. We don't do life insurance. And like you said, it's very affordable. I always say kids nowadays, or even young people, I would say, they buy what they want and beg for what they need.
Yeah.
But that goes along with the priorities being all messed up. You go out and spend, again, to get, I don't know what's it, you go out and spend, I don't know, a lot of money on expensive purses or shoes, but you'll come back and you got disconnect notice on your lights or your water. You should have took that same money and paid your bills, took care of your business.
Hey, I'm not trying to be funny, Miss
Hmm.
Lash, but it's 2022. Who the fuck you hanging around with and still doing that shit?
But that's what young people, I said.
I don't understand that anymore. That's just like the first time I started hustling, the first thing I was told is don't hustle backwards. And
Yep.
that's what that is to me.
But they do. They don't put their priorities in order.
Biggie
You
said
see
it
kids
best.
that come to school. Perfect example. Kids that come to school, all kind of money on their feet, nice clothes, but in school, the parents asking for school supplies. That should have been the first thing you bought.
Because
Hmm.
they don't put no value in that. They parents do not put value in their kids' education. I don't care what nobody says.
Nope.
Is certain parents that do put value in their kids' education. That is a generation curse that we need to break. And we already know the school system is antiquated. I say that every time we talk about the kids. The school system is antiquated, and when I mean, but parents got to put value into their kids. That's when you got to go to outside and do this research. Where's my kid gonna get a better education? Go ahead, Mr. Huck.
Well, see, like Lou, a lot of times, I subbed at a K-5 in Charlotte, and I learned a lot. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of these kids, man, they hungry. You understand what I'm saying? So we're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with an economic issue before they even get to the educational issue. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
uh, we don't, the illiteracy is it's running rampant in our community, and And so, other unmelanated, they they have had
Other
setups, you know what I'm
unmelanated.
saying? But we were dealing with red lines. We were dealing with so many other things. We were struggling just to get civil rights. So we fell behind. But now like Jay's generation, man, that we're everything that I didn't know, I'm trying to shovel it to my children, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
And
doing the
they're and
same.
they're regurgitating it,
Mhm.
they're getting it, you know what I'm saying? They're understanding well, Judah is understanding stocks. They're understanding, the hustle with the, if you get a hustle, it can multiply into, a six figure or more business. But it's just, you know, trying to educate them because again, I'm trying to catch up because it was things I didn't know until I got older. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right,
passing those things on is paramount
right.
to create the generational wealth. And we we may not see it. However, with my brother there, with the life insurance, there's stuff that we can do to have that work for us, versus
Yeah,
not waiting until we pushing up daisies to to
Mhm.
um to benefit us. They have it to where you can, some of them you can borrow against. You know what I'm saying? Make your purchases, and then you're cyclically reinvesting your money. Now, I'm again, that's an arena. That's an arena for me. I'm learning that
Right,
arena now. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
and that's what I wanted to say because I done had life insurance for a long time, but and I got enough to take care of all of my
Mhm.
assets when I die. But now that I'm finding out after I bought the life insurance in a couple of years, it's like now I'm finding out we can do that. I'm like, I was told before how Master and them keep their stuff in the family was life insurance.
Mhm.
And when I started doing my
Life insurance.
research on that, I was like, it's just like Mr. Huckleberry said, it's like, whoa, we've been duped a long time ago. Jay, I know you've been wanting to say something for the minute. Go ahead.
yeah. I just got one small thing, then I got to run. 'Cause I gotta get out of here. Um, I think the most important thing that I can say for my generation, for those who are tuned in or those who have children in my generation, it's I gotta commend us because we're not afraid to ask questions. We're not afraid to look stupid or crazy in front of the world. Like
Mhm.
there are a lot of people my in my age that are real life pioneers. They've done things that their parents would have never done, their grandparents and so on and so forth. And the last little nugget I have is moving forward, us as a people, we got to be very conscious as to what we digest, and not just the foods that we eat because um, uh, 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 diabetes and high blood pressure is very rampant in the African American community. That's something that they don't really tell you about. They just tell you that you gotta stay away from certain stuff. But um, digesting as far as like the things, media that we're taking in, the music that we're listening to, the people that we surround ourselves with. A lot of people say that you are who you hang around, and it's more than just trying to warn you from about people. It's about digestion. Like you're constantly taking things in, and that digestion is very important for us as a people. We got to be very conscious and wary about what it is that we choose to partake in and what we choose to say, you know what, I'm abstaining from that. I'm going to push it to the side. Um, if I can't make a recommendation, it's a little bit above a lot of people, but I listen to a lot of Nipsey Hussle. That young man,
We all do.
rest his
Mhm.
soul. He changed my life in many ways because
Hey,
he's the
Jay.
one who had me start thinking more commerce. He had me start thinking more, okay, what you gonna do for your community? What can you do to change the world? And it's not on the Martin Luther King, I have a dream. It's more on the lines of like, this country gonna take from you, so you need to educate yourself and learn how to take back.
Jay,
So,
I want to thank you because all of us except for Roy on here got kids your age.
uh-huh.
Mhm.
You hear me
Mhm.
better now? Yeah. So
Yeah,
all
Yeah,
of us got
yeah.
kids your age. It's a big insight for me to see kids your age what they thinking. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I met the
Mhm.
young man when he was 21, and he always had his head on his shoulder. It was like boom, boom, boom. This is what I'm gonna do. Da 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 da. So I appreciate your time, sir. You know,
I appreciate
Hey,
y'all
I
and
just
I
want to
enjoyed
say
the
he'll
talk.
make the cut, Lou.
say he'll
Hey,
make the cut.
yeah,
He'll make the
Y'all be
cut.
great.
enjoyed you,
Mhm.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So hey, have a good night, man. So that was interesting coming
But
from that point of view, from his point of view and his
yeah,
perspective.
really, really was really.
So
Uh,
Yeah.
I know
and
we've
I,
been on
but
here an
I
hour
hope
and a
I didn't
half. If anybody got
insult him
any,
saying, "Man, I got kids your age." You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Look, I got kids older than him. What you talking about?
Yo, so
Yeah.
I was like, man, but that's what there are a lot in that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Those, I don't think that generation is lost. They're just doing things a little differently than we did, and so we, as that older generation, we need to change our way up too, because now everything's internet based. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we need to get abreast of those things. Man, I can't stand it, but I got to learn it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I
Got to
love
do
it.
it. It's just
I love it.
A
I
yeah.
couple.
love it.
I got 2 points to make. One, you're right. I tell people all the time, I'm an analog man in a digital world, and it
Mm-hmm.
hurts me
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Let me get squared up here.
But you got to be
Um,
analog about certain things, and what's digital,
Yeah.
you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Be analog when you want to take care of your woman. Be digital when you need to operate in the world.
yeah.
For sure.
And another thing is, I had to learn. I learned it years ago that just because somebody's younger than me doesn't mean they can't teach me something.
Right.
And a lot of
Absolutely.
young
No
people have
doubt.
Absolutely.
taught me stuff
Right.
and kind of changed my. I won't say change, but adjusted and dialed in my
Mm-hmm.
perspective.
Yeah.
So I was able to learn a lot.
Yeah. Like I say, growing
Mm-hmm.
up, me and Janelle used to have these conversations all the time. So it's like it never was
Mm-hmm.
nothing new to me. So Miss
Mm-hmm.
Lash, you got something to say?
Yes, sir. I'm
Speak.
listening to you. I'm listening to you. I think about generational curses. I'm trying to think of thinking about our generation. How many of us are truly trying to break the curse? So some of us, the curse began with us.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
We may not want to believe it or think about it that way, but the curse started with some of us, and we pass it on to our children, and now our children are having children.
But the only way you can
Mhm.
break a generational curse like that you done started is you have to allow your children to correct you. And
Mm-hmm.
it might sound
Ooh,
crazy, but think about it.
Yeah, I feel you.
This
I
is
feel you.
true.
It's the truth.
Mm-hmm. You got
You
to
have to allow
swallow it,
them
man.
to
You got to
correct you
swallow it.
because you're not always right. Be if
I got a
Mm-hmm.
to
story. I got a story.
hold on, let me finish my thought and I'm gonna let you go.
Okay,
Uh,
absolutely.
to honestly be honest with yourself is a humbling experience that is like no other. When you are truly honest with yourself, this is the reason why I can talk about the things that I talk about because I'm just truly honest with myself. I don't need to be honest with. Well,
Hmm.
I'm always gonna be honest with y'all, but if I can't be honest with myself, I can't be honest with y'all. Go ahead, Roy.
When I was married, I raised my ex-wife's 2 kids, and Jamie, when I met him, he was in the estrogen force. He had a mother and a younger sister, so he was always overshadowed. And it took me about 4 months to get him out of his shell, start talking to me. And my ex-wife, her only solution was a spanking. No, let me talk to him first. And instead of saying well, what were you thinking? What was your plan? Did you have a plan?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the expected outcome with your plan? And he tell me if he had a plan, okay, I can't be mad at you because you had a plan. I say, but let's put some of my years of experience with your plan and see if we can come up and improve it.
Mm-hmm.
So for months, I would ask him, "What were you thinking?" And that would. And one day, me and his mother were in a spirited conversation, and he rolled in and he followed the 2 minute rule, raised his hand. I got something to say. I was like, no, because I knew where he was gonna go, and I knew how she was gonna respond. He was like, no. He raised his hand again. His mom was like, well, what? I said, no, go play the video game. And he should have took the hint that when I tell you to go play the video game, I'm really trying to save your life because I don't like video games for kids. She was like, what? He said, mom, what were you thinking? And she lost her mind. How dare you? I'm your mama. I said, huh? Good question, son. Go upstairs, play the video game. Okay, Dad, but I really want to know. I said, I understand you do. We'll talk about it later. Go upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I'm his mama. That don't make you right. I say, this is what I want you to do. Take these $30, go get your toes done. And while you getting your toes done, Don't look at who asked the question. Look at was the question legitimate or not.
mm,
Yeah, because you
She
have
didn't
to.
want to
Yeah,
be in, but his question was legitimate.
right.
And once you put your children in a position to have a voice and an opinion, it doesn't necessarily line up with you. You learn about who they are as people, and you
Hmm.
can kind of
mm.
guide their
Right,
personality
right,
Right.
because they're gonna
right,
pick up
right.
more than you try to teach them through
Right.
your
Mm,
actions. Much more is caught than is taught. And if
mm,
you, I
Y'all
know
women ain't
me,
expect a
I'm an
lot of parenting
asshole.
coming from a man, huh?
mm.
I'm an asshole. I know that, but I've navigated this whole life being that way, so I know how to when to apply it, when to pull it back, and how to maneuver and get myself out of a shitty situation I put myself into. If your kids pick up your asshole traits, which they did, and you're not there to
Hmm.
guide them in how to maneuver being an asshole, they're gonna have a lot of hard way to go, and they'll operate at a disadvantage.
Yeah. So with all that being said, yeah, there you go, Miss Lash. It's
Get
like
closer to the mic, Blue.
it's a choice. It's about what you allow your kids to understand. In my opinion, that is. So, Miss Cynthia, you got nothing else to say?
Look, you are. I mean, you already know when it comes to my children. Just like yesterday. Yesterday was open house. I was at both of them. I'm meeting teachers, shaking hands, and letting them know, hey, I'm available. Call me. Call me, text me, email me,
Mm-hmm.
send the bat signal. I'm involved, right? So I don't, I have a relationship with my children's teachers. When people be like that whole, oh no, oh no, 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 no. We're on a united front, and that united front is my child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm that parent where I'm involved to the
Mm-hmm.
point of where I have my children arguing. They are actually arguing with each other on because I joined the school governance council, and so now one's at the middle school, the other one's at the high school, and now I got to make a decision on whose school governance council am I joining. And Aaron was
Oh
like, "Well,
wow.
hey, you need to come join mine." And Kayla's like, "No,
Mm,
ma, you need to be on mine." And I'm just like, "Well, damn." I like, yeah, but you already see how I do my children, and I put it on like my greatest investments
Right.
are them.
Right.
They are my greatest investments. So, like I said, yeah, you can sit up and, people be like, oh, this, that, and the third. Let me tell you something. I pour into them. And like I said, everything I do has a ripple effect and it affects them, good, bad, or
mm,
indifferent. But that's why I always make sure my ripple effect is on the good side. And then if some bad stuff come out, they be like, "Yo, you know what? I see how mommy moved like that. I know not to, make that mistake." But like I said, my children are my greatest investment. Those, because again, I'm creating little people. I've created little people to live in this adult world, and they got to be able to manage, survive in this world. And
Right.
me sheltering them and, not being real with them, I'm not doing anything but hurting them.
Right.
But
So
I'm
I'm
also
a
giving them all the opportunities and tools
yeah.
that they need to be able to
Right.
make it out in this world.
That's breaking the generational curse. That's adding to generational wealth. Because I'm gonna say this. I know Janelle want to speak. Um, when my son was 3 years old, he used to. I ain't never forget this. He used to love Power Rangers. I remember little Nathan sitting there holding. You know how the kids hold their little shorts up when they too big and everything. And he watching the Power
Hmm.
Rangers. And he having fun. I turned. I said, Nathan, you think that's real? He said, Yeah, Daddy, that's real. Nathan, that's the idiot box. Is fake. I think I destroyed that boy's little world right there. But I did that on purpose, and I'm not gonna lie
mm,
because of what you just said. I am preparing him to live in an adult world. I don't want you fantasizing on this. I can control his narrative from the beginning, so it'd be like, hey, and when my son got to the third grade, he he been in gifted. He was in the gifted program always since third grade, all the way to college.
Hmm.
And then, like you said, you was involved parent. Now he go to college. He been on a recruiting trip. He get a little sideways with me. I told him right there in front of the recruit, I'll bust your ass right here.
Hmm.
mm,
Don't care.
Oh, my kids know. I get a
Right.
call. Oh, I'll sit up in class with them. I'll sit right next to him.
mm,
Right.
Right next. We don't do that. I send you to school. Look, I said, that moment when you don't ever think you sound like your parents. I sound
Hmm.
like my parents. I don't send you to school to be a class clown.
Right.
I don't
mm,
do that.
Right.
They
No,
got
no, no,
to go to
no,
school
no.
for that.
But that's
Called
how we
clown
break
school.
them generation curses, them generational wealth, making them smarter than us. Don't letting them fall in the pit
mm.
holes and the fires that we fell into. If you're not preparing
Exactly.
your kids to live without you, you're wrong.
Mm.
End
I
of
just want
story.
to
Let's
say something.
Huh?
I want to.
no, go ahead,
This
bro.
is off the subject a little bit. 3 months ago, I said Intel was going to $30. My advice is if you invest in the stock market, it's at 31.92 right now. When it hit 30, buy and hold for 2 years. It'll be to 60. Double your money.
All right. Into it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's at 31.92. It
Generational
closed at
wealth.
31. Huh?
Hmm.
Just
But
like
okay.
just like I say, yeah, generation wealth. Just like with my kids, always talking about, oh, I want to make you proud. I want to make. I appreciate that and I love that. But my thing is this, hey, but you got to do it for yourself because
Mm,
if I leave this earth today, what is going to be your reasoning to succeed or do anything?
Right.
Because now I'm gone. Who are you doing it for?
Right.
mm,
I need you to do it for you. I
Right.
love that you love mommy enough to where but you got to want it for you because I
Right.
may not be here tomorrow. And once I'm gone, you have no reason to do it.
Right.
You have no reason to, and that's what I tell them. But let me tell you something. My children, like Rory said, I know my children are assholes. I am their mother. Their mother's an asshole. it,
The mothers
it
are
is what it
Taurus.
is. But let me tell you something. My son, so today was the first day of school, my 14-year-old, and he sits down on the bed next to me as I was putting on my shoes so I can go take first day photos. Because I don't care how old they get, I'm still doing first day photos. And so he goes, mommy, you know that I love you, right? And I stopped, right? And that threw me off because the way he said it. And I go,
He
what? He
said
goes, you know that I
disappoint you.
love you, right? So I go, Aaron, okay, what is it? Because it could only be, he's like, what do you mean? I said, either you want something or you're about to break my heart, right? Because like when somebody be like, I love you, right?
Jerry
But
Springer.
and he looked up at me and he started laughing. And he's like, yeah, that wouldn't be you to be suspect. But he was like, nah. He goes, I don't want anything. I'm not going to break your heart. I just want to let you know. Because sometimes I think you don't think I love you. And I was like, okay, I
All
love
right.
you too.
Sin, let me uh talk to Miss Lash right quick. You got any final thoughts before you go?
Um, no, I just hope whoever listening out there that they've heard the conversation, talked about generational curses. Let's start to break these curses, build generational wealth. Let's invest in ourselves, invest in our children, invest in their future. That's and like I said before, I'm rooting for everybody. I want everybody to win. So whatever I can do
Mhm.
to help, information you think I might have, feel free because I don't mind the sharing secrets, to financial, security and success.
And how may they contact you?
304-887-7202.
oh
TM
goodness.
Lash LASH73 @gmail.com, or I advocate for you. That's number 4 letter U at yahoo.com, or Facebook.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Lash, I appreciate you and thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Good
All right,
night.
thank you.
Janelle, go ahead.
Night.
You got a final
Um,
thought?
final thought. I've actually enjoyed this, man. I stay low key, man, and
I know.
but
Hey, let me put you on pause for a minute. A lot of people tell me I bring people out the woodworks,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
I,
you
I I
do,
tell
man, and
people
I
I'm a good
appreciate it because
dude.
I've enjoyed this dialogue, and I as well hope that something we've shared tonight from a personal experience or even just the banter back and forth, what I'm saying, and it helps to grow, you know what I'm saying, and then the brother offering the intel information, appreciate you.
Yeah.
I think that we as a people should be doing this more often. We should be networking from the social work to I work in a lab, but every aspect we have something to offer everybody, and I think that we need to do a lot more networking Get the egos out of the way, do some networking,
Yeah.
and grow
That
from there.
that's a big problem,
Yeah,
bro. And I'm gonna go on a tangent for a second. I'm
yeah, yeah. Go
48,
for it.
so I've had $100,000 in the bank and negative $100 in the bank. But at certain ways, things I do in my life. Number one, I refuse to pay more than $60 for an athletic shoe. Fuck Michael Jordan. I'm from Detroit. Number two, when it comes to investing, people are like, what do you invest in? That's not your business. Well, what should I invest in? Invest in things that you buy. If you buy Nike tennis shoes, buy one
Hmm.
share of Nike stock every time you buy a pair of Nike tennis shoes. If you go to McDonald's or Burger King, you're a Coke drinker. Buy Coca Cola stock. If you go to Taco Bell or KFC, you're a Pepsi drinker. Buy Pepsi stock. If you use it on a regular basis, somebody else does. You ain't
Hmm.
got to go broke in the stock market. I started my stock portfolio in the midst of a divorce. And much like Lewis, people tell you what you shouldn't be doing in a divorce. You can't buy no truck in a divorce. You can't invest in a divorce. I can, I will,
I
and I
can. I
did.
did.
Fuck you. But I started out with $50, and I parlayed 50 to 4,000. Money over time grows. If you want to create generational wealth, start get your kids involved. Whatever you do, they gonna be interested in because they kind of carbon copies of you, even if you ain't
Mhm.
biological. If you say, "Dad, what you doing?" "Oh, I'm looking at these stocks." "Well, what is this?" And then they start asking questions, sharpen your pencil, and then make you get in the books. But
Hmm.
if you dismiss them and send them to the video games, that's what's going to raise them. That's the only thing that's going to have value to them. But if you teach them how to research a company, research a stock, take a chance, I tell people all the time. I forget your name on under Cynthia.
She gone.
Oh, she gone.
Who?
But
Oh, yeah,
Tanya.
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 Yeah, I think
Yeah,
her
yeah.
screen
uh,
just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the way I
I'm
got it set
I'm
up,
guessing
Tanya.
she's
If
in
I got your picture when we
education
hang up,
based
it
on the
just.
way she
Mm,
talks.
But
But the most important thing you can teach your children is to make a decision based on the facts and information you have and be in a position to defend your decision based on the facts and information you have. Teach them what to think, teach them to think. Take it
mm,
apart, analyze it, make it make sense to you. And then when you
Hmm.
find yourself in a position that you can teach it, you know it.
Hmm. Yeah. Cynthia, what's your
And I
final
tell that to young
thoughts?
people all over the place.
My final thought.
Hmm.
I mean, like I said, as always, it's always a pleasure. I love being on here with you guys. But have to echo exactly, what Walt said. We have to, I think we are our own worst enemy. We don't know how to come together. And like I said, we've had this conversation before. We as Black folks do not know how to come together. We do not know how to unite. We do not know how, because we're also worried about what the next man got, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, I just think it's all about unity. Children are your greatest investments. If you got them, invest in them, take care of them. And if you're paying child support, quit whining about the damn child support. That
It
irks
only
the
lasts to the
crap out of me.
18.
See, that's another topic. That's another topic.
It only
But
lasts.
no,
It only lasts to the 18. Yeah.
yeah.
mm.
That's it.
But like I said, generational curses and wealth and whatever else. Hey, you already know how I feel about them generational curses and children and grandchildren. As I'm sitting over here laying right next to my grandson, hey,
Hmm.
he gonna be the most lovingest little child because we tell him we love him all the time. And that's another thing. You got to quit hollering at your kids, leaving at the door in the morning.
Yeah,
Fussing at them, and that's something I had to learn to quit doing.
I had
I
to
had to
learn that.
learn to stop doing that. Yeah.
I had definitely had to learn that.
I put some music on and affect the whole mood.
mm.
Yeah, that's why I
You know
say
what I'm
You
the
saying?
next
know,
house I build, I want speakers in the ceiling.
real
I want to
quick,
wake up.
Lou. Let me throw this in there. Like, I tell my boys that I love them. You know what I'm saying? I make sure that they know that I love them. My daughters know that. You know what I'm saying? But my boys, they know that their dad loves them. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's something that we're missing in our generation. because we grew up, man. We ain't never hear it. You know what I'm saying? But I want to make sure that my
Mhm.
boys know that, so they'll be strong men as they get get out here in society. So that that's I think that's real important. So I just dropped that little nugget, man,
No,
as I
no,
was
you're
thinking
right.
Nice,
here.
man.
True
Nice.
story. My son and I, like I said, this is why I took so much shit from my ex-wife to break these generational curses. Um, the first time he met my biological father, the first thing he said to me, "That's the man that you told me that never told you that he loved you." And I was like, "Yes." So it was
Ooh,
Mm,
always important for me to tell my son that I love you. It was always
yeah.
important for me to wrap my arms around my son. That doesn't
Mm,
make us soft or weak, you know what I'm saying? But that was a generational curse that I wanted to understand that it's okay for him to express love and emotions with another man. And I don't mean
mm.
nothing sexual by it, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
okay.
I dig it.
You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Men, we are taught that we supposed to pin up our frustrations and our anger, and that's why we, as Cynthia said earlier, men don't know how to talk to women because we don't know how to express ourselves emotionally. And it's like,
I mean, it comes out here. You know what I'm saying?
yes, it comes out
We'll
here.
sling, yeah, we'll throw it from the shoulder, and it's like, yeah, yeah, man, that's a whole nother
Mhm.
conversation
Yeah.
there, man. But yeah,
it's uh, Mr. Huckleberry.
yes,
It's
sir.
it's important that your son see you telling your friends that are like brothers to you that you love them too. Because on a
Oh,
regular basis,
absolutely.
Mhm.
Lou talk,
Hmm.
he'd be like, "Love you, bro." I said, "I love you too," and I ain't a gay bone in my body. It might
Hmm.
be, but I never know because I ain't gonna try.
Yeah. No, I mean, man, because like I got some, with us from the military, man, we have ties with brothers from boot camp. You know what I'm saying? And them
Hmm.
brothers know that I love them. You know what I'm saying? Because man, I can hang up this phone right now and hit this floor in here. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Uh, so there won't be any. I wish I would as. You know what I'm saying? My people know that I love
Mhm.
them. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I dig you. I dig, bro. That absolutely is something. It's something that we don't articulate. You know what I'm saying? And these young brothers out here throwing these grown man temper tantrums. That's all it is, and it's love. That's I think that's what's missing with a lot of our young men. But that's again, man, Lou, man, hey, bro, when you hit me up when you want if you want me back on here, man.
I will.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What?
Yeah.
I
Hey, I'm
want
gonna
to
get my
thank all
phone.
of y'all. Cynthia, I know you. I'll be hitting you up on Facebook all the time. I want to thank you for your time. Um, Mr. Huckleberry, I thank you. You know, we talk on Facebook. Well, I talk to all y'all on Facebook,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
know, we,
Yeah.
we all got a deep connection. It's amazing to me how our generation, because we all in the generation, is still trying to make sure that we still. I don't want to say the word violent, but we still progressing. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to
Mhm.
learn what this generation behind us is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like we was the first ones to play video games. We was the first one to have cell phones. You know what I'm saying? I think about this type of stuff all the time because it's like it's true. They see the world totally different than we do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's up to us who they see the world totally different. Their world's totally different, but they still have the same consequences and falls that the same system they playing against, and they have better information. That's why we got to make sure that with that knowledge they learning that they use it to change their generational wealth as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But yeah, but
For
I want to
sure.
wrap
For
this
sure.
up, man. It's been almost 2 hours. It's
All
been a
right.
great
Yeah.
conversation. Mr. Huckleberry, I would love to have you again.
For
What's up, Miss
sure.
Cynthia? Oh, you're saying bye
That
bye.
that was just like that was
Uh,
just yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
thank y'all for tuning in to the Economy of Conversations, hosted by sponsored by Maddie Lee's Southern Smokehouse, and thank y'all for supporting me. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Good
You
night,
too.
man.
Salute.
All right,
Bye.
Peace.
salute,
Peace.
peace.